Tuesday night, Dean Day. Game on.
Welcome back, viewers. Today we're going to try and do an update on the stuff that's happened so far. So I've got a feeling that when we're up to was the Elven Council meeting, wasn't it? Yeah,
that's exactly where it begins.
Yeah, the Elven Council meeting where Amadeus and Strauzel finally get to Ravensport and the big Elven Council meeting happened. I thought it was a great session, actually.
That was pretty good. We got a lot of content in there. See, again, a little behind the scenes action. Probably got about 6 or 7 episodes out of our last play.
I reckon so, yeah.
Yeah, you got your Elven Council, so we'll just briefly discuss
Strauzel
that.
and Amadeus, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting there. Strauzel, Amadeus got his harp out.
Oh yeah.
Tuning it up, and
then rudely interrupted
by someone trying to tune up a lute at the same time.
Was rude, a little rude. Well intentioned, but they weren't there for a jam.
No, it wasn't a jam session.
Yeah. So that was our friend Balazar.
Berate the fucking players again, and give them some more information about Skeksis and what's happened.
Yeah. So they conveyed, in a nutshell, as it were, that the way Skeksis operates is that you've got the Bane of Skeksis, which is the artifact that can destroy the Crucible of... What did you actually...
Oh, it's got a word, the phylactery.
There it is.
Which stores his essence or soul or, you know...
So what will happen is that when he dies, then he reverts to inside the phylactery.
That's right. So once his physical form's destroyed, his essence retreats back to the phylactery, and after a period of time he can, like the phoenix arising from the flames. For want of another analogy, a lich can reform.
And so the phylactery can be destroyed with the Bane of Skeksis. And we learned that.
Yep.
We learned also its vague location, and given a pearl that would, on proximity, alert us to the fact that we were in proximity to the Bane of Skeksis.
That's right, or to Eladon's lair, really.
That's right.
For those that haven't seen it, and should, because it's quite a good episode.
It is.
That one.
Bit of backstory.
The story of Eladon, most beloved of elves, and at the 11th hour was swayed by the dark powers of Skeksis. At the 11th hour, she ran away with the Bane of Skeksis.
Terrible.
Before the last big battle.
Yeah. Which we need.
Yeah.
We're also at that point admonished for our rashness and general behaviour, which was something else. And whilst we were there, finally we had another meeting with our friend, the captain of, was it the captain of the guard?
Yeah, Captain Duplay put his foot in the door and
let himself in.
Because the guys have arrived in Ravensport. The council had arrived on the back of a couple of griffins, and that caused a concern. Something you don't see in Ravensport very often. And
I actually tried to speak to them, so that just shows how out the loop I am. But at that point, he sort of let us know that it would have been nice had we informed him earlier of the comings and goings, but we thought it prudent not to do so, and in fact we were counselled not to do so by Mistress Kirsten, so that's the line we took there. But owing to the good the good rapport that I had developed with Captain Duplay, he at that point bestowed upon me some mighty artifacts.
Well, it was more than that, much more. It was a joining of two houses and the adopted son.
Yeah, so it was pretty big.
The prodigal son.
Yeah. So I received a shield, which I needed because mine was at reduced capacity, and also a mighty weapon.
Yep. And the joining of the house of Fromage and Fogwhistle.
Yeah, a big honour was bestowed upon me.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a moment. And then our intrepid adventurers set out
Yep, on the
to right the
search,
wrongs.
the search for the lair of Eladon
Yeah.
in the mountains to the north,
So some days
northwest of-
march northeast, was it?
northwest,
Northwest even?
northwest of
Northwest.
Ravensport.
Yeah.
And eventually, after 3 or 4 days of travel and guidance with the pearl, because the council gave you a pearl, that would start to feel warmer the closer you were
That's
getting
right.
to where the lair,
Yeah,
where they
so,
thought it was.
Yeah, yeah.
And X never, there's no X marks the spot really when it comes to magic. It got you to
Got close enough.
close enough where
Yeah.
you decided, oh, we need to look now. It's like, yeah.
So then we had a little look around,
Yeah.
found a bit of a doorway action, which had an engraving which was remarkably similar to the brooch of shame. So
Oh yeah, the door on the side of the hill that had the engraving of a fair elven maiden.
yes,
And
a little receptacle actually.
yeah, the key of Skexis.
Yeah. So I quickly brought out the brooch of shame, which
You
is
love it, don't you?
my responsibility to bear, mine alone.
Fucking love this.
Yeah. Docked it in the receptacle. We might even have said artifact here just as a treat.
I've always got it.
So this is
King.
mine and mine alone. I carry this heavy burden as a reminder of my transgressions. The brooch of shame. Yes. So yeah, we opened the door and entered
Yep.
and found.
Begin the trials.
Yeah. So mist was our first, I believe. There's
Yeah.
another doorway.
A misty corridor,
Yeah.
or corridor that ended in an archway
That's
covered
right.
in glowing mist.
Yep. Couldn't really see through it.
And I think, what did I call
And
that?
so
one?
that had Yaldi words on top
Yeah, that had some
of that
stuff.
particular one.
That was the trial that had a picture of the heart
Right.
at the top of the archway, which I called, well, to me it was the trial of courage.
Yes. So the idea with this one is that you to put your hand in a box. We're all to put our hand in a box at the same time.
Shall we read out a bit?
Yeah, read out the.
Read out a bit. So written along the archway, the picture of the heart was, "You may place your heart in the box of courage. All is not as it seems. To remove your hand before the end is to bring instant and everlasting death."
Which I took to mean as permadeath of the character, which is a pretty stiff penalty. So we were all pretty much on our best behaviour, and the idea was to put the hand in at the same time, to leave it in regardless of the consequences, to avoid permadeath. So
Oh yeah, it was for
Yeah.
sure. It's as it read,
Yeah.
to remove your hand before the end.
yeah. So the trick, what Sir didn't hear properly, because Sir just doesn't always pay good attention, is that it's a diagonal. You stand at the diagonal and you put your hand in the box. So were you to move off that angle, you would in fact be removing your hand from the box. And we're also,
To move 10 feet away from where you were is...
well, that was the other
Yeah,
aspect of it,
yeah.
is that the chap next to me, well, let's get to that. So we put our hands in the box at the same time, and what do you know, every turn we're rolling damage equivalent to the damage that we would deal in
Your hit
combat.
dice, you would take your own hit die
Yeah.
in damage.
Yeah, which in
against
my
yourself.
case, was pretty hefty penalty, but it's all measured and weighted. So anyway, as we got closer to approaching extinction, Sir had a mighty epiphany and thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to save my compatriot? So I've thought, the genius that is, to cast Cure Wounds, which is a touch spell, as we know,
Well, we do now.
on Balasar, which I knew at the time as well, but I just was mystified by
Well,
the whole...
that's a confession.
Well, regardless, the whole encounter mystified me. Anyway, I've tried to do so, and fortunately, Dizzy took it in his great compassion to give me another opportunity to maybe rethink my action, because it would have resulted in me removing my hand from the box, permadeath, da-da-da. So, there's that. So there you are. I don't know what else I can say about that. That was pretty...
The whole point of the challenge, as I mentioned, like the picture of the heart is meant to mean courage. That's
Yeah.
why I called it the trial of courage. And it was just, test their resolve and their willpower, really, because the only way they would die is if they took their hand out before the end, and the end being reduced to 0 hit points slowly over a period of time, which was quite surprisingly, because the reason why I chose the damage would be their own hit die, would hopefully that all sort of...
About the same time.
Yeah, because everyone's been taking average hit points, so assuming average rolls, everyone would sort of be low at the same time. But funnily enough, Caroline.
I don't know what happened there, but
Yeah.
somehow Morgaine was pretty much last person standing.
Yeah, the lowest hit point person.
Yeah.
And
So there you are there.
Yeah.
I don't know what shenanigans happened there.
who knows? It's
Yep.
the luck of the dice.
And
really.
apart from anything else, had Balazar wanted, he as a cleric has healing spells at his disposal. So the whole thing's just fraught with error,
Oh, it made some some good tension.
So yeah, that was the
I
thing.
I
And
think
that was actually quite a long episode. Watch it if you will, but watch it at your peril. You've been warned.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first trial, which
So-
we found after we had all dropped to 0 hit points.
Yep.
Back up, no exhaustion.
Everyone fell unconscious
Wonderful.
eventually.
Doorway opens.
Passed the trial after an undetermined amount of time.
That's right.
So who knows
Yeah,
how long?
yeah, but the light spell was still in effect. So, but there you are.
So I know it wasn't. No,
That's the asked.
I don't think it was. You're down longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Or less than.
Or it's 8 hours.
No, his light spell only lasts an hour.
Is it?
It's only cantrip.
Right.
Pretty sure it's
I think
only
we
an
had a
hour.
discussion, but regardless, doesn't
Regardless,
matter. So then the next trial.
next trial. So after they walk through a doorway appears in one of the walls, the glowing archway with the glowing mist, and they walk through that into a corridor filled.
Well, did it? I didn't
It's
have
like-
anything written on it yet.
No, they walk from that room into a corridor filled with the glowing stars and galaxies of the multiverse.
Yeah, and that's got some pretty special effects on that particular, which was at no considerable effort.
No, hard to discern. It's almost like you're walking in the ether.
Mm.
The ground is not the ground, and provides almost a sense of unease. Maybe
Yeah.
what are we walking on? But
Another
nonetheless,
test of courage.
they walk through the hallway and they come up to another archway with a glowing mist that appears to block entrance, and a picture of two wrists clenched, like in the Warriors,
Yeah, which
Like that.
eventually
like that.
got my
and,
head around.
And the words, only by working together will you leave this chamber.
Which was another interesting conundrum.
Oh,
So
this was really funny for me. I loved it.
this just dragged on and on this one. So we were presented with, it was like, had the appearance of a glassy wall.
Yeah, they come into the room and there's this
20 foot wide. Yeah.
20 by about 30, 40, but bisecting the room from where they enter is like a rubbery sort of wall or barrier that they had to somehow work out how to get past, and they thought they could see another doorway on the other side, even though they weren't sure whether the wall had distorted how far away this other part of the room was. So the puzzle was to work out how to get past the door, or get through this
the wall.
rubbery wall.
Yeah. So I think we initially tried. Oh, did we just go straight for the wall on this one, didn't we? We weren't that silly, yeah. So we joined hands and tried to walk through at the same time, and we did dexterity check,
Yeah.
and we failed.
Yeah.
At which point you could metagame, which we did have the discussion, but in true role-playing fashion, we were dumbfounded.
Yeah.
We tried again.
Basically, everyone needed to succeed on a dex.
Yes.
At whatever DC I set.
Yes.
There was a simple option too.
What was the other?
Just have this have the slowest dex person move first, then the next, then the next, then the next.
Oh,
So
we didn't have to go through at the same time.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to roll if you have, like, say, you got lowest dex probably, because you got no dex bonus, everyone else has. So you start, then the next highest, then the next highest, and then Pirate Steve at the end.
Right.
That was another way as well, too, of eliminating.
Okay.
Like, we know you're slower than the rest of them to react, so another way to achieve the puzzle. But watching these guys roll, and when you ran at them, that was funny.
Morgaine had the brainwave that we would rush at the wall, which of course we tried. And when we failed the dexterity check, we also took damage. So that was fun.
It was like running into a brick wall.
Just tried it once.
Yeah.
And then we, rather than metagame, we talked through that maybe we weren't walking through at the same time, and that we would count down. And here's where Serve must have been really out to lunch, because in the countdown, I missed 6 or 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
To the derision of my allies. Another shining moment, but there you are. And eventually, we successfully counted down. Is it down or up? Either way, we successfully counted to 7, and we got through on that occasion. So it was true role play fashion.
Yeah, everyone rolled a dex check and
we succeeded.
Yeah, so look,
So that was something.
It was more funny.
So again, watch that at your peril. That's actually a full episode.
Yeah.
Of just debacle.
So there's more of the. So once they got through the rubbery wall together, it disappeared, and the glowing archway's there, and they once again progressed through the archway into another hallway, very similar, the stars and the galaxies all around, and that unease and odd feeling of walking on nothing, and they come up to a picture of a brain at the top of the archway, and
there was no
writing, no.
So at which point I volunteered that perhaps this wouldn't be the room for me, given my previous form on the night. Again, we were met with mist, and I believe Balazar was the first to approach confidently. And we entered the room where we encountered a puzzle.
A puzzle.
Which is a 4-part.
Yeah, it was like, and for those that have seen it, and those who haven't, please watch it, because it was just a take on the old Hanoi Tower. I described there were 5 discs, the biggest, 3 rods sticking up from a stone desk or plinth in the middle of the room, 3 rods sticking up, and 5 weights, heaviest to small, or biggest to smallest on one rod, and the rules were to transfer the weights, moving them one at a time from that end to the other side.
Provided that the biggest was down the bottom.
Yep, you can't put a big one on top of a little one, you can only move one thing at a time. So it's just a version of what's called the Hanoi Tower. Not impossible to solve, but it just takes a bit of messing around. But what I loved, to simulate the Hanoi Tower, I used one of my grandkids' toys, which was the rocket.
It's a pretty good prop.
I think so. I
Very
love that prop.
successful prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching the look on you guys'
I
face,
loved it.
I bring out the rocket and
Look of childish
set it
delight.
up. Yeah.
So Balazar stepped straight in and just started moving things around to great effect.
Which surprised me, because as soon as I was describing it, Morgaine thought with her comments she was right on top of it.
And yet she did nothing at all.
No.
Nothing whatsoever at all, Morgaine.
Maybe she was managing the situation.
Well, she certainly did something. Yeah. So Balazar gave it a good go. And then I've looked and, pennies dropped, and I had a little go myself.
And all he did was really just fuck up what he was doing.
I shuffled a few things over, dude.
Yeah.
I was to great effect.
Yeah.
And then Balazar returned. It was pretty much Balazar was the hero of that encounter.
Yeah, which surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise to see him, because he's not big on the puzzles.
He was right into that one.
But this one, he was all over it. And you guys actually got a chance to play with the children's toy.
That's
Tuesday
right.
night D&D.
Yeah, big kids at heart.
That's
So
right.
yeah, solve that one.
Yep.
Check, and then on to the next. So again with the mist, again with the stars.
Starry corridor. Of
And I
mist
believe
and,
this is the creature of your
this one had the crossed swords
right.
on
So
top of the archway.
yeah,
Before you walk through.
yeah. So was there any words?
No.
So that's right. So this wasn't there a spoken word?
Oh yes, there was.
Yes.
Once everyone had decided, yep, we're moving through. It's not a resonant voice, but a voice boomed. It was only a small room, like maybe 20 by 20
Yeah, but
square room. A voice boomed, speak the name of your destroyer, and your life or doom is on the winds of fate.
so there you are.
So there, I'll just tell you. So what I was looking for, and I was listening very avidly, was for any mention of a name of a monster or anything like that. It's you have to think back to that classic movie from the 80s, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Same sort of line, you know.
I've seen it since the 80s.
Yep. How they chose the marshmallow giant
Right.
as, you know.
And how did they choose that? Someone was thinking
Thinking about the marshmallow man. So look,
Yeah.
I stole the idea. All right,
Oh, that
I'm not unhappy
That's
about
right.
it, but
It worked.
you know, it worked as a great idea. So that was the idea.
So we tried.
Speaks the name of their destroyer, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So, and I'd even had planned if someone had tweaked upon what the fuck was going on. Yep, a beetle, and I already had a plethora of giant-sized insects and stuff like that.
Excellent.
So, Eric the half a bee, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all over it already.
Yeah.
So there's no a slug or a snail, you know, like nah.
But surprise, surprise, no one tweaked.
No.
It was all straight over the top of the head.
Yeah, which was really amazing watching what you.
Well,
then
we
proceeded
tried
to do.
to cross swords and touch
Yeah.
walls and hit walls and fecking about, and there was quite a bit of that.
Jeez, it was funny.
Yeah, and that goes on for a spell until Balazar made the offhand comment, Durka Durka.
Durka Dolly Durka.
Yeah.
And that's become the affectionate name for the Eton, that giant that the guys fought
Yeah.
before they entered the abandoned dwarven mine.
Yeah.
And so, being a very generous DM, I thought, yeah, that's close enough for me.
Well, that works,
They've
yeah.
named the giant,
Yeah.
and the giant shall be the form of the destroyer.
And that's exactly what we got.
So instantly the guys were all teleported to a larger room,
Yeah.
still facing the walls. They were
Yep.
touching with weapons and stuff and all sorts, and testing the definition of insanity. And a large, very large giant. First time we got to use that model too.
Didn't you use it last time?
No,
Okay.
I think
You had a
this-
different...
the Eton was only as big as like the Dolly Dirk was like
Right.
large, not
Yeah,
huge.
'cause this thing was
So
massive.
we got to use one of our newer models,
Yeah.
the big giant guy, and yeah.
Now, I recommend that you watch this episode as well. I recommend you watch all of them, but the visual to me is, because I had the camera up close and the model was right there and with a dizzy frame, and just the whole thing to me was, and that was just fortunate happenstance because the camera was too heavy at the angle that I had. But yeah, that to me is some epic footage, and
Yep.
we were all very happy to have a fight
Yeah,
because it had been a few hours. And
and I think a couple of times, you know, Tom was like, I didn't choose anything.
yeah,
And I think you even went back and replayed,
Yeah.
choose the name
that's right.
of your destroyer, blah blah.
Yes.
And I still think, even after I told him, yeah, you did, man. He didn't get it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I had the advantage of being the editor, so I got to go through and you could see when the moment, you could hear when the moment occurred. When
and there's
you-
logic to the puzzles, so
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, he mentioned something offhand and I thought,
Yeah.
no, this is good enough. And why not? Because what I was really hoping was someone would have used the word Skexes.
Oh, wow.
Wow, you know, and
Oh, that would have been something else.
wouldn't it? Like,
Damn, we would have
wouldn't have
been
been the real
dead.
Skexes, but
Yeah. Oh,
would have
gosh.
been something really filthy.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'd prepped
So
up,
we got lucky there.
spent some time thinking about what they could say
Yeah.
and what could dragon. I was looking forward to using that dragon model,
Mm,
you know.
mm.
But
Sort of
yeah.
lucky that Is that power cord? It is plugged in.
Yes, it is, mate. Yeah.
Some moment
That's. Did you?
Yeah.
What sort of a moment?
when I saw the plug sitting there.
The moment slipped by. My soul's on fire. I led the way
Wow.
to the funeral pyre.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dolly again makes
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
an
Made
appearance.
sense to me, and
Yeah.
it was a great combat.
And some great cinematography there.
The only thing that worried me was that Tom only had to move up 5 more feet to have all of his within the bless spell, which should have made. That's another good spell.
Yeah, that's right.
Another good spell we should have
Yeah.
mentioned.
So bless is plus.
Plus a D4 to attack and saving
that's
throws,
right.
I think.
Yeah, which is pretty handy.
Yeah.
Which is actually very handy.
And he's
really.
not limited.
Big
to,
advantage.
I think he thought it was like an aid spell. Once again, know your spells, because that 5 foot would have given an extra party member that
Yeah,
extra
true that.
advantage.
Yeah.
It's everyone within the radius of the spell.
Yeah.
I don't think it's limited
It's
to
a pretty
numbers.
small area that we were dealing with.
No, still. It was actually
I don't know if anyone died or not, or got knocked down in that.
No, because
encounter.
there was a.
It was the
I
rush.
just rolled shit damage,
Yeah.
mate. It was just terrible.
And Morgaine had to go to work, just on a personal note, so it was all a little bit rushed at the end, but we
Yeah,
got through it.
you jammed a smite crit up its ass as
That's
well.
right.
Oh, it was just rubbish. It was,
That's right.
you know, even with +8 to hit and madness, it was just, you know, no way this thing was hitting, and when it did, it just rolled shit damage.
And it felt like a mighty tree when it was.
It's probably the
fell.
toughest fight these guys have had to date, and it was just underperformed, and I still really don't want to give away the full amount of XP it's worth, considering how it turned out, you know, but that's a story for another time.
Oh, it sure is. Yeah.
But what an epic battle.
So unbelievably, all that occurred in the space of one night of Tuesday night D&D.
That's it.
That
Because
was,
I think that's where we ended it off. That was
Yeah.
the last time we
and
caught up.
that's,
So,
you know, last time we touched base.
so
few
what
weeks
was
ago now.
Balasar's comment? We've come this far in the trials only to be killed by some beastie or something. Words to similar effect.
Oh, Durka.
Yeah, well, he chose it.
Yeah, he sure did.
There were some others I really
Yeah.
wish he would have chosen.
I'm glad no one said Skexus. We could have been there a long time before anyone said anything. So it's lucky in a way that he said Durka.
Well, I was waiting, and you
Yeah.
guys would just, the cross swords on the walls, I just thought, really, the description that the voice gave you, choose the name of your destroyer.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I thought that's pretty obvious.
It's a pretty big hint.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't in my best form on that particular night.
So I was really voting for Skexus or Dragon,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah.
or a small hobgoblin.
Well, then there would have been maybe 2 or 3 hobgoblin
Yeah.
captains for all those guys out
Wow.
there. You know what I'm talking about. So
I'd have to
you
look
know,
at the book I'm not allowed to look at.
well, look, you know, if you want to DM one day, you've got
wouldn't
to,
mind.
you've
Yeah.
got to, you know,
Yeah.
read the
Step
player's
up the
handbook.
plate, yeah.
All the rules are in there, and there's just guidelines in that one.
Oh, that's got the fell creatures.
No. There's
The DM
guidelines in that one. And
Oh,
that's just your
Oh,
reference.
the monster manual.
Yeah, you don't need to read that
True.
back to front. It's
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah.
Just reference, man. But we digress. So that was the last,
Yeah.
not the last trial, but the last
The last
chapter.
inaugural
Yeah.
Tuesday night D&D with much
Yep. So
sadness.
who knows what lies ahead?
Mm,
How much time has surpassed?
that's
No
true.
one knows.
Yeah. So there you are. Tuesday night D&D.
Up to speed, and hopefully we'll be back producing content soon of the gaming sort and type. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying these catch-ups.
Well, it's certainly going
discussions,
to
yeah.
change the direction of the channel somewhat and give us a chance to explore some of the other things we've been discussing.
But
in
once
some
again,
ways.
you know, it's all back to you guys as well too. If there's something you'd like to discuss or mention, or you know, even if you're thinking about Skexus or something, a point of law you want to know about, I'm sure I can make something up within 2 minutes and
There you are.
talk shit about it. So, or you know, well, Jim, why do you always roll shit initiative? And like,
Yeah, I
that's
do.
a thing too.
That's
you know,
a thing for me. Yeah.
yeah, there's only one case in ages. I think
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
that last
quite
fight,
recently.
wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and I was
wow,
right up
where
there.
is the real Jim? Who
Just
knows?
Craziness.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But any comments, please. There is no such thing as a bad comment, just a crap answer from me.
Well, any comment would be good. Always asked for and not always forthcoming.
That's right.
But thanks, Roger Rabbit and Pissy Digger. keeping that ball bouncing.
All good. All
Good
good.
job. Yeah, Tuesday night D&D.
We love it.
Game on. Keep the wolves at bay. Self-imposed exile of the world.
Yeah.